alleged extrajudicial killings by security forces. Channel Africa's Alex Kaire.
The statement condemned that incident and acknowledged that that was an oversight and that the officer involved has since been arrested and he has since been identified. He was shot in the head at point blank range and he was actually not armed. He did not resist arrest. He was basically selling the face masks to the protesters, just like it happens every time there is a protest. And the two officers just confronted him as he tried to pin himself on one of the doors of the shops. After that shooting, they left him there as he fell to the ground and then walked away. And he was later on taken to one of the referral hospitals in the city center.
Belgian prosecutors say they are seeking to put on trial a 92-year-old former diplomat over his alleged role in the 1961 killing of Congolese independence hero Patrice Lumumba. Etienne Davinon is accused of involvement in the unlawful detention and transfer of Lumumba at the time he was taken prisoner. Lumumba's children filed a case in Belgium in 2011 to demand justice after their father was killed at the age of 35. His body was dissolved in acid, but a gold-crowned tooth remained. Davinon is the sole survivor among 10 Belgians accused of complicity in Lumumba's murder. Deputy Chairperson of the South African National Editors Forum, Chamo Makadi, says they are working to form a journalism sustainability fund to save journalism. The Sun's media companies across the country are retrenching staff. This is mainly due to a drop in revenue as people are moving away from traditional media towards social media platforms to access news. Makadi says the business model for the news media needs to be changed. He says research by the Reuters Institute at Oxford University found that social media and video networks have now become the main source of news in the United States, and this can easily fit into the South African news consumers' preference. Makadi says to ensure that South Africans access credible news content, SANEF continues to engage relevant stakeholders to find means to regulate the digital space. Makadi elaborates.
Amongst other things, we spoke to the Competition Commission to really put the point forward, mainly around big tech, to say there's a lot of money that's leaving our shores. Are we not able to look at methods of version as we would have seen in other countries such as Canada? But also that needs the support of a parliament. If you're talking about laws, parliament, it is in the right position to take some of these proposals and turn it into a bill.
And finally, Israel's military says it struck nuclear and missile production sites in Iran on the sixth day of bombardment. In the capital, Tehran, shortages of fuel and food have started being reported, with the bakeries closed and some cash machines not working as more residents are attempting to flee. Explosions were also heard in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem overnight. The BBC's Sebastian Usher reports.
There were loud booms over Jerusalem, Tel Aviv and other areas in Israel overnight, but for a second night in a row, despite some damage, there were no fatalities from the Iranian missiles. The Israeli authorities say that since last Friday, there have been around 40 impact sites across the country. There have been nearly 16,000 claims related to structural damage and more than 1,000 for vehicles. As a result of Iran's retaliatory attacks, 3,800 people have been evacuated. It does seem that Israel's air defense shield has mostly been working, but it's been reported that it costs around $250 million a night.
For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulongwepe.
SABC News, the African perspective.
7 minutes past 1 p.m. in Central African Time. Well, you know when you hear that piece of music, what's about to happen, right? Welcome to Channel Africa. A pleasure to be with you this afternoon. My name is Matshako Musito. I'm standing in for Tebogo Lekhuleni on the Upside, where we talk all things lifestyle, bright and early in the afternoon. Welcome to your favorite continental radio station. A pleasure to be with you this afternoon as we broadcast live via satellite, Channel PAS10 across the African region. You can find us in Southern Africa on satellite as well. That's on the DSTV audio bouquet. That's Channel 802. Otherwise, Channel 628 on OpenView HD. Otherwise, World Wide Web, the traditional World Wide Web, you can find us on channelafrica.co.za. Thank you for being here. It is so wonderful to be in your company this afternoon. My name is Matshako Musito. I'm with you for the next 3 hours. So let's be in each other's company until 4 p.m. in Central African Time. Some wonderful things to look forward to on our lifestyle programming this afternoon on Channel Africa. We are coming through with all things drinks and sipping on delicious things. We're going to be speaking to a really well-known mixologist, and he is also the founder of Cause Effect, as I understand it, and he's going to be joining us and talking about his globally renowned mixology and the art thereof. His name is Kurt. We're going to be speaking to him in the next few moments. In the golden hour of the show, the middle hour, we're going to be looking at the founder of KDX. So we're going to be looking at what this is all about in terms of really profiling this particular guest and looking at the work that they're doing. I believe that there's going to be a glamping occasion that's also going to be taking place. South Africa's very first glamping expo is going to be taking place. So this particular guest is going to tell us about that. And then in the final hour, can we keep that as a surprise? Because I really want you to stick around and let's let this unfold. Let's let the magazine show unfold as it should. But there really is just so much to look forward to. And thank you very much for your listening ear. Please stream with us. We're live on Facebook. It's Channel Africa. You can find Channel Africa on YouTube as well. Welcome to the Upside.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Kwa nini wanamuziki wengi sana wa kizazi kipya hawafiki mbali pale wanapofanya muziki?
Ni kwa sababu kitu cha kwanza ambacho naweza nikaongelea nikagusia zaidi sana ni kusema kuwa wale wasanii wanapotoa ngoma yao ya kwanza ikiwa kama kahiti kidogo tu, wanaanza kutamba mitaani, wanaonekana kama wapo majuu zaidi sana.
Kuna wanamuziki wengine ambao wanakimbilia kwa waganga wa jadi. Hivi muziki na dawa vinaendana?
Kitu cha kwanza naweza nikasema ni kuwa muziki na dawa haviendani. Lakini muziki ni kipaji.
Kuna watu wengine wanashutumu wasanii wengine kwamba wanaroga.
Wanaroga, wale wasanii kama wanaroga ni kutokujiamini tu. Lakini kitu cha muhimu sana ni kipaji.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la Double K
or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
See, Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. Enjoy the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Get Channel Africa on DSTV audio bouquet. Channel 802. Till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kaleidoscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines
with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa.
Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa.
It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising.
Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9.
Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis,
and the voices that shape the day.
At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people,
and the things that make Africa smile.
12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories,
and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else.
The Upside, 1 till 4,
live and real,
with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni.
Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m.
5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color.
Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif.
Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m.
Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9.
We get some Lucifer knowledge. Kalodiscopia.
9 till 10. We take a look in Africa
and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla.
And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines
with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa.
Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa.
It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising.
Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9.
Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis,
and the voices that shape the day.
At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people,
and the things that make Africa smile.
12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories,
and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else.
The Upside, 1 till 4,
live and real,
with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni.
Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m.
5 till 6.
Move through Togo with a beautiful piece of music by Bosser featuring Picaloos. I love learning about this young music. It's so amazing what is happening on this continent. Of course, featured there, the main artist is Vesti, featuring Picaloos, and they're from Togo with a track called Bosser. Really just such beautiful sounds coming through. Thank you for joining us. The program is called The Upside. The show is called The Upside. And we're on until 4 p.m. in Central African time. Thank you very much for joining us. And listen, cocktails are not just for the summer season. Let me just declare that early on before we get into this wonderful conversation. Cocktails are a perfect addition to any occasion. They are a perfect addition to any time of the year. And I think the winter season is the perfect time to warm up and forget about the usual shots and the slow sips, because we're going to be having a conversation with a renowned mixologist. His name is Kurt, and he is known to be a game changer when we look at gourmet shots, as they are called. Very stylish, very flavor-packed, just a really beautiful experience that you can curate for yourself, as served and created, as I understand it, by Cause Effect in the city of Cape Town. That is, of course, here in South Africa. Kurt is standing by, just by the way, to have a conversation with you and I about gourmet shots. So if you're like me and you're new to the space, this is going to be a wonderful conversation. We take a quick promo break. We'll return after this.
June is Youth Month in South Africa. Celebrate Africa's young voices with us. Channel Africa, the African perspective. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the Upside. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
All right, 18 minutes into 1 p.m. in Central African time, the first hour of the Upside, already speaking about delicious things like gourmet shots, very stylish, very upwardly mobile. And I think if you really are looking for a different experience when it comes to how you experience and experiment with liquid gold and other wonderful things, this is a perfect opportunity. As I understand it, created at Cause Effect in Cape Town. We are about to talk about a miniature cocktail space, as it were. And really what we're going to look at is the pairing of flavors. We're going to talk about the artistry behind creating shots. It sounds very theatrical, doesn't it? But who better to tell us about this than Kurt Schlechter, who is joining me on the line. And of course, he's renowned as a mixologist in the city of Cape Town and really around the world. Kurt, a pleasure to catch up with you. Welcome to Channel Africa.
Thank you so much. Wow, I love how you talk about cocktails. That's amazing. You're saying cocktails are not only to be drinking in summer, but in winter as well. I love that. That's
Absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You are most welcome, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm always very fascinated by how the space of mixology and experimenting with drinks and also creating an experience for people like myself on the receiving end, it sounds like it's constantly evolving and constantly taking shape. But I think for those that haven't met you or haven't experienced what mixology is, perhaps tell us a little bit more about your journey, Kurt, in mixology and what that is all about, what exactly mixology is, yeah?
Yes, well, mixology basically is actually, funny enough, a word that came about like in the 1860s already when the first cocktail book was written. Mm-hmm. The bartenders then were making all their own liqueurs and flavors and syrups and spices and using spices, and we call them tinctures. So today, a modern mixologist really is someone who creates drinks at the same level and consistency and quality every time, but it also is really into the process of procurement and also into the actual study of the ingredients. So not only are you studying how to make drinks, but you're studying what ingredients can I use, when is it available, what season can I get my watermelons in. So it's a study of ingredients and, of course, the study of spirits, liqueurs, and alcohols that you're going to use. So there's a lot of history and interesting facts that go into making alcohol and different ingredients. So it's a combination of all of that. So in a nutshell, you're in a creative space, creating drinks consistently while studying all the ingredients.
Oh, I love that. I mean, gourmet shots is a new term for me. So I need you to just help us define that. What is the difference then between just an ordinary or traditional shot, if I could call it that, and a gourmet shot? Is Kurt still with us? Kurt, are you still there? Okay, I think we were just experiencing some connection issues with Kurt, but we're going to get him back on the line, okay? This is such an amazing conversation, really talking and unpacking the theatrics behind the experiments, an experience, I guess, if I could use that term, of mixology, but also creating gourmet shots. We really are going to learn so much from Kurt, who is joining us as a mixologist, a globally renowned mixologist on the show, the first hour of The Upside. We're going to try and connect with him, and he's going to tell us a bit more about creating gourmet shots and what that looks like at this time.
The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Interracial relationships. And now you are based in the States and you are married to a beautiful white woman, white lady.
I learned that, for us in our culture, we literally can speak our mind. I remember when we had started dating and whatnot, and, she picked up like a little bit of weight. And me, I was like, oh, wow, you must be happy in this relationship because look at you. You look great. You're even picking up some weight. And she got really, really offended. And it took like, I think it was about a couple of hours before I could realize that, because I could tell that she was off after that. And it took me a while to figure out like what it was. Until later when I was talking to her, I'm like, you were really, really off today. And then she expressed that, yeah, because you're telling me that I'm picking on some weight. And I'm like, in my culture, when you are gaining some weight, it means you're happy.
Yes.
So that's what I was trying to imply.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
The president of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Badea, Dr. Sidi Ould Tah, he is vying for the presidency of the African Development Bank, the AFDB. He positions himself as a fervent defender of economic integration and structural transformation on the African continent.
So I do believe that I have a 360 view of the development challenges in the continent with my experience from both the supply side and the demand side. But more importantly, my vision is to bring on board all the stakeholders and to have a holistic approach for the development of the continent and to develop partnership across the continent and outside the continent, bringing all the stakeholders together to work for one goal is to make Africa great for life and livelihood of the African population.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
All right, 24 minutes past 1 p.m. Central African time. We have our globally renowned mixologist back on the line with us, Kurt Schlechter, and he is sharing a new experience for you and I as African people that like to experiment with beautiful things, something he calls gourmet shots. And I'm really, I'm just fascinated by that idea because it really is about serving it in a single shot, as I understand it. But I will let him explain in just a moment. Kurt, I have an idea for you.
Yes.
I think you should come up with your own bourbon and call it Schlechter Bourbon or something. I love your surname.
Thank you. And I was just thinking that was so well pronounced.
Really? Oh my goodness. I was waiting for you to
perfect.
correct me.
I was like going, Schlechter, perfect. Well done.
Oh man.
Yeah, Schlechter bourbon, not a bad idea.
Isn't it
created
just?
my own bitters.
Okay. Tell us more.
I created my own bitters named after and I'm going to digress now, named after so bitters is basically like Angostura bitters. You use it in old fashions and Manhattans and cocktails. Mm-hmm. And I created one using a local plant called Leonotus leonoris, which is Villadacha basically. Mm-hmm. It's a misnomer. But this name I got from my German ancestor who used to be a famous botanist. So I use some of the local plants here and I make this bitters to make in drinks.
Okay.
So I've actually got that route. But talking about gourmet shots though, yes, so there's a trend in the world where we're drinking mini flight cocktails. Mm-hmm. Mini flight cocktails is little cocktails that you go and you'll go into a bar and you'll have a martini, a Manhattan and a Negroni, for example, and you'll have little ones. So you can drink the smaller versions and you get to taste more drinks. That's one of the main things. And also it's like half a cocktail, so you don't have to drink a whole cocktail and still operate heavy machinery afterwards, so you can get to taste the flavor. So the gourmet cocktail thing is because we've got such a wonderful cocktail shooter culture in South Africa, we created the gourmet cocktail shooters, and they come in different forms and formats. So we created like the ultimate blowjob and the ultimate springbok, which is like a long, tall, thin glass, and it's really it just amplifies the flavor. Where we've actually taken this ultimate blowjob cocktail. That's a cocktail with coffee liqueur, amarula, and cream. And what we've done is we've just added in chocolate sauce, coffee liqueur, added in this beautiful whipped cream, and then we've added in chocolate pieces and wafers. So it looks very beautiful. This tall, long drink. But that's just one form of the gourmet shots. The other one that we're doing is we're actually making hot shots for the winter, which is a very famous drink made with honey and brandy and rooibos tea and lemon juice. And what you do is you flame it all together in a glass, and then you pour it out and you share it, like you actually caramelize the honey almost. And you create this amazing cocktail. Gourmet shooters. So basically, it's like a beautiful shooter that's amplified and just comes in such an elegant glassware and has a little snack with it, like the ultimate blowjob has a little wafer snack with it. The honey one has a little biscuit with it. So these are like little interesting shooters that you can come and share in the bar or have with a little snack with it as well.
Oh, yes. I love that. I love that we can pair the shots with something to eat to create that beautiful and theatrical experience, as it were. Just tell me, perhaps let's take one non-traditional shot, if I could put it that way. One that holds some kind of a personal story and meaning to you.
Yes, well, I really love this drink. It's like a variation of what we're drinking now, which is like the Springbokkie, but it's made with. So when I was a young bartender, I was in the Navy. I started bartending in the Navy like 28 years ago, and I met this old bartender in District 6, and he made me a drink called the Flying Circus. And it's actually just a little shooter made with Van der Ham.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if people know what Van der Ham is, but it's a Naartjie spice liqueur made with brandy from KWV. It's this beautiful, spicy Naartjie flavor. And Naartjie is obviously so South African. And this bartender made me a version of it, which is actually Van der Ham, coffee liqueur, and amarula.
Wow.
And then he puts nutmeg on the top of it. And I'll never forget that drink because it was made for me when I was like 18 years old, and was like, I haven't really experienced my shooters before. And it was made for me in Cape Town in an old bar in District 6 that doesn't exist anymore. So that's probably my greatest experience. What is Van der Ham? Well, it's the South African version of Cointreau. I don't know if most people might know Cointreau as an orange liqueur. And so we serve like a mini sidecar as well in our bar, which is literally brandy, Van der Ham, and lemon juice, which is what we're serving for winter now. So and then of course, there's a few other brandy cocktails that we're serving as well. But these are all these mini gourmet shooters, basically an elegant shooter or mini flight with a little snack next to it. And that's the idea. We want people to not only drink, have something to, but it's about flavor and taste. And I think as a bartender / bar consultant, mixologist, bar owner, we're always looking for things that taste great. I mean, I think that's the art of hospitality. Besides service, is obviously the guest experience is something that tastes amazing. So I'm always looking for something. So we've made like a mini martini flight that's in our gourmet cocktail section, and where we've pickled like beetroots and carrots. And because it's the martinis is, I don't know if you've drank many martinis, but it's really like the martinis, that super strong cocktail that's got gin and vermouth in it, or vodka and vermouth. And what we've done is we've pickled carrot and beetroot to serve with it. So that gives it like that, almost that olivey type of flavor, because obviously martinis are famous with olives.
Right.
So this is a small martini glass with pickled carrot.
All right, man, this is all very fascinating. I can't wait to delve deeper into just the collaboration as well with Cause Effect and the upcoming event. But I'd like you to stay on the line, Kurt, if you can. We're going to take a quick break, go straight to Fikile Lengwati with the sports news, and we'll return after that.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tego. Good afternoon, guys. Let me start off with motor racing this hour. South African circuit Kyalami says plans to upgrade its facility to Grade 1 status have been approved by the FIA, which would make it eligible to host Formula 1 races once the necessary works are complete. Kyalami is among 3 venues vying to bring F1 back to the African continent, although the sports CEO Stefano Domenicali indicated last month that a deal was still a long way off. Kyalami, located north of Johannesburg, last hosted a Grand Prix in 1993, which was also the last time F1 raced on the African continent. The circuit is listed as Grade 2 by the FIA, meaning It would not be able to host an F1 return in its current state, but plans put forward by Kyalami and the UK-based Apex Circuit Designs have the potential to bring it up to a Grade 1 standard. The layout of the circuit is said to remain unchanged under the plans, with the changes focused on enhancing runoff areas, barrier systems, debris fencing, curbs and drainage. Circuit owner Toby Fentor said the next step was to bring F1 back to Kyalami. Now into cricket news, the ICC World Test Champions are back home following their heroic performance in the final at Lord's last week, where they beat defending champions Australia to win the first ICC final in 27 years. The Proteas were met by a relatively small but enthusiastic crowd of supporters. Two of the heroes of the Proteas' victory, fast bowler Kagiso Rabada and second innings centurion and player of the match, Aiden Markram, were dumbstruck by the welcome they received at OR Tambo International Airport in Kempton Park, east of Johannesburg.
Very happy. This is beautiful to see. Thank you to everyone for coming out. Very proud moment for us as Cricket South Africa.
Pretty overwhelming, to be fair. Didn't expect this turnout. Been many years coming now, so I think it obviously means lots to the fans, and their support over the years for us has been massive, and to see them turn out today to be part of this celebration.
Temba Bavuma and his men emerged from customs and into the arrivals hall soon when a small but enthusiastic crowd welcomed them home.
It is very important to come here to welcome our world champions, Conrad, Temba Bavuma, Rabadi, you name them. Those are the world champions,
Yeah, it's a great victory. All our players get their hearts out, and it's a big win for us. Of 27 years, I think it's a big achievement. We're the best in rugby, cricket, and maybe one day soccer, and I really want to be one of them when I'm older.
Still more cricket news. Head coach of Nigeria's women's senior cricket team, Leke Oyede, says the just concluded Kwibuka Women's T20 cricket tournament is a good test ahead of the World Cup qualifiers. Nigeria finished 5th out of 9 countries in the tournament in Kigali. However, Oyede says the position is immaterial as compared to lessons gained by the squad. In the week-long tournament, Nigeria defeated the defending champions and the highest-ranked team, Uganda, in a nail-biting encounter by 5 runs in the group stage. The team also fought hard to ensure a 2-wicket victory against Tanzania for the first time in the group stage, though the East Africans were the eventual winners of the tournament. 9 countries participated in the 11th edition of the tournament in Kigali, as the event was in commemoration of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. Let me wrap it up with bowling in Namibia. Namibia's national men's bowling champion Allen Langenstein has expressed satisfaction with his preparation for the upcoming event. The event is scheduled to take place from the 16th to the 30th of September. He says he's ready to take on the world's biggest stars when he represents Namibia later this year at the prestigious 2025 World Bowling Championship in Australia. For any sports stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Fikireni Nwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Ahoy, matey!
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or on X at Channel Africa 1. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa 1. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Let's quickly check in with economics news. Nosipho Zuma has the latest.
business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, team. Good afternoon. In your business news this hour, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, will today picket outside Denel's offices in Centurion in the Gauteng province to demand long overdue wage increases. Now, NUMSA claims that workers have faced significant challenges, including unpaid salaries during the COVID-19 pandemic and no salary increases for the last 5 years. The union accuses Denel's management and the government of mistreating employees while attempting to privatize the company. NUMSA's national spokesperson, Phakamile Hlubi-Majola.
Earlier in the year, a promise was made by the executive management to workers that they would be receiving a 7% increase. But that decision was changed by the board of Denel. And this is what has caused workers to be up in arms, because they're saying, why are you refusing to give us this increase? The executive management highlighted that we would receive 7% earlier in the year. That was suddenly changed without reasons given by the board. And this is why a decision was taken that today that they would picket.
And while consumer inflation in South Africa has remained unchanged at 2.8% in May. Now, this follows a slight uptick in April, up from the 2.7% recorded in March. Stats SA released the data showing that the only category contributing to the 0.2% monthly increase in the CPI was food and non-alcoholic beverages. Chief Director for Price Statistics Patrick Kelly says the monthly change to the food and non-alcoholic beverages index was 1.1%, following a 1.3% rise in April.
The annual rate for the category increased to 4.8% from 4% in April, the highest print since March 2024, when the rate was 5.1%. Let's dive deeper into this. Meat, and specifically beef, is a key factor behind the rise in food inflation.
Ghana's Finance Ministry says the Fitch B rating is a key milestone in Ghana's economic recovery journey. Ratings agency Fitch upgraded Ghana's rating to B- from a restricted default, attributing the rating to the successful restructuring of $13.1 billion in Eurobond debt, sustained fiscal consolidation, and notable progress in stabilizing the macroeconomic environment. Professor of Finance at the University of the Cape Coast, Professor John Gatzi says or explains the impact of this rating on Ghana.
And all these things point to a direction that is favorable for the country. And with this rating, the signal to our creditors is that we are improving in terms of our ability to pay them when their investment fall due. And so I think we have a package of good statement from this rating.
Closing the trade finance gap is one of the most critical aspects of ensuring trade works for all, especially for micro, small and medium enterprises, women entrepreneurs and young people within the Commonwealth member states. Now, this is according to Shirley Botchway, the Commonwealth Secretary General. Botchway was speaking at the inaugural launch of the Commonwealth Business Summit underway in Windhoek, Namibia. The Secretary General has also announced the launch of the Commonwealth Investment Network, which aims to match credible projects with capital across member states.
Our goal is bold but achievable, to demonstrate that trade and investment within the Commonwealth can transform our economies and sustain the resilience needed for each Commonwealth citizen to enjoy the democratic dividend. That requires a partnership with Commonwealth businesses and financing institutions on strategies to raise incomes and make our 2.7 billion population a consumer market powering Commonwealth prosperity. It means growing intra-Commonwealth trade to at least 2 trillion by 2030.
Japanese vehicle exports to America dropped by almost a quarter last month amid the fallout from President Donald Trump's new tariffs. Around 8% of all jobs in Japan are linked to the auto industry. The BBC's Katie Silva reports.
Last year, the US spent about $40 billion importing Japanese cars, including Toyota, Honda and Nissan vehicles. It was about a third of what Americans spent overall on Japanese goods. Now, though, these cars are subject to a 25% tariff, which, other than Britain, has hit the automotive industry across the board. It's contributed to Japanese exports to the US dropping by more than 11% in the month of May, compared to the same period a year earlier. The tariffs are a huge blow to Japan's manufacturing sector, and something Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba is desperately trying to tackle.
Your financial indicators: one US dollar in Nigeria is trading at 1,543 naira 57. In Botswana, it's 13 bula 21. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shillings 60, and in Zambia, it's 24 kwacha 31. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 49. Russia is 78 rubles 50. India is 86 rupees 24. China at 7 yuan 18, and in South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rand 88. $1 is trading at 73 pence to the British pound and 86 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,383 and platinum at $1,278 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $76.06 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Nosi Pozuma.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. The Upside. On The Upside, your voice matters.
15 minutes to go until it is 2 p.m. in Central African time. Welcome back to Channel Africa, and thank you very much for your patience and for your grace. Back with renowned mixologist Kurt, who joins us on the line, and we're talking about gourmet shots. We're talking about lifestyle and really what that looks like when you are looking to experiment with new ways of experiencing the consumption of shots, and who better to tell us more about this than Kurt himself, because he's worked with different kinds of drinks. He's paired it with different kinds of, food items, as it were. And of course, his work with cause and effect is also something we're going to talk to him about. Kurt, thank you very much for holding the line. I really appreciate it. So where we left off the conversation earlier was you just telling us a little story around personalizing gourmet shots, and you were telling us a story about a shot that holds a personal story for you. But I want to take this conversation now is to talk about cause and effect, which is in Cape Town. Tell us about that space and how you fit into to that particular puzzle.
Yes, so Cause and Effect is a cocktail kitchen and restaurant. It's basically a bar that we created 8 years ago. We have one in the waterfront and one in Rondebosch. It's in the V&A waterfront. We basically are a bar that creates amazing guest experiences through pushing creative boundaries in drink making. So Cause Effect is inspired by Cape Town's ocean, mountain, vineyards, and fynbos. So we basically use the natural elements and inspirations from people, places, and geography around us. For example, like we call it bar terroir, the idea of what we do. And terroir is a very famous word used in French. It's a very famous French word used in the wine industry, where it says the terroir of wine basically is the influence of the climate, the soil, and the positioning of the vines that are growing for the grapes. So you take a bar terroir a bit further and saying we're using the ocean, the mountain, the vineyard, the fynbos, but also we're collabing with people. So that's why we call it bar terroir, because you can't if you go to a bar, you're going there to actually mingle with people, mingle with your friends. So at Cause and Effect, we create very interesting drinks and experiences that you can have that enhance your not only the visual aspect of your imbibing, but also the taste that you get from it. And that's we like to do fun things with spirits and liqueurs. So we always developing new flavors, new menus
of the work at Cause Effect, and also how that's going to find its way in this upcoming event, because it can be quite a competitive space, this gourmet shot space and the space of mixology. So how are they staying, above the curve, as it were? So we're going to catch up with Kurt after this short break.
Embrace our young voices this month. Channel Africa, celebrating Youth Month. Get the news, music, and lifestyle of Africa on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
The president of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Badea, Dr. Sidi Ould Tah, he is vying for the presidency of the African Development Bank, the AFDB. He positions himself as a fervent defender of economic integration and structural transformation on the African continent.
So I do believe that I have a 360 view of the development challenges in the continent with my experience from both the supply side and the demand side. But more importantly, my vision is to bring on board all the stakeholders and to have a holistic approach for the development of the continent and to develop partnership across the continent and outside the continent, bringing all the stakeholders together to work for one goal is to make Africa great for life and livelihood of the African population.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
Kurt Schlechter is back with us. So let me just reveal a little secret that I wasn't supposed to reveal. You see, Kurt has been working on a drink specifically for me. That's why he's online, then offline, then back again. And he's going to tell me what for me in just a bit. But Kurt, where we left off was really talking about the wonderful innovation with the space that you've founded that is Cause and Effect in Cape Town and the inspiration behind that. So let's talk about the upcoming event. I think that's very exciting for anyone that would like to, that's going to be in the vicinity, as it were, around the time that you'll be hosting this event. What can they expect? I think especially if you're looking to experience gourmet shots for the first time.
Yes, so we're going to be doing so we're doing the mini gin festival, which is on the 28th. It's next Saturday. Okay. It's basically, we've got a mini gin festival is like a small little festival inside our bar. We take up to 100 people only for the day. And what it is that we're serving many gourmet shots and gin cocktails, and we are and what happens is if someone buys a ticket online at Cricket for 199 Rand, you can come and drink 6 cocktails and have 2 gin and tonics with some of these amazing brands like Amarula Gin and Cape St. Blaise and Bloed Lemoen. So we've got actually like little tables, just like a festival. And so you come there and then you receive you buy a ticket and you basically just come and have some nice little mini cocktails and gourmet shooters, and you get 2 gin and tonics as well. Okay, so make sure you head down there if you're going to be in Cape Town next week Saturday. Okay, so make your way there. Where can we get the tickets? On Cricket. Cricket is the link. You just type Cricket. You just type into your browser Cricket. That's ticket, but with a Q. Quicket, Quicket.
Cricket, very simply, just go and it's literally like logging onto Facebook. Get yourself a ticket and go and experience. I think this is also just such a wonderful grown-up date idea. If you're looking to take someone special, I think this would be wonderful for the season in South Africa. That is the winter season, of course. So yes, Kurt, if I am a lady and I have never experienced gourmet shots ever in my life, and I'm just so excited about this idea, what would you put in my shot for me?
Well, I've got this amazing, since the rugby's coming up and we've basically won the cricket and we've won the World Rugby and South Africa's winning everything at the moment.
Yes.
I think the 100 meters, what else? So many things.
We're winners.
Springbok is a good idea, and we're making it in chocolate cups. So we make it in a chocolate cup. So it's an edible chocolate cup with cream and peppermint crisp on top, and you can eat the whole cup, or you can just drink it and then eat the cup. And then I'll still have to design a cocktail for you, but I better come and make it for you sometime in studio.
I would
when
love
I come
that.
to Jersey next.
Oh, yes,
I'm gonna come and make you a drink.
Oh, that
I'm
is
going
so
to create
beautiful.
a drink for you and come and bring one to you.
Oh, Kurt, that would just make my year. I'm 100%, absolutely.
Okay,
I would love that.
I'm in Johannesburg in July. I'm doing a guest shift there at one of the bars there, and then I'm gonna come and make a cocktail with you. We're gonna arrange it.
Love it.
Your cocktail, not any cocktail.
Especially for me.
Especially for you.
Listen, Kurt, you had me at chocolate and edible. So I'm 100% in. Thank you so much. We look forward to experiencing. Yes, thank you. We really are looking forward to experiencing cause and effect as a cocktail bar, but also the space of gourmet shots, as it were. So if you're going to be in Cape Town, Kurt is such a wonderful gentleman to learn from. As a globally renowned mixologist, it was a pleasure to catch up with you. Thank you so much. It's 6 minutes to go till it's 2 p.m. in Central African time. We've got news at the top of the hour.
On a little bit more color, Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to Eastern Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia, 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to Eastern Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia, 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa.
Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move.
Programming here on Channel Africa, exclusively so. A pleasure to have you join us. Music by Wizkid featuring Arya Star. So we feature the music of the stars as well. To Sugar, the title of the song. And leading us to a news bulletin that will be coming through at 2. But after the 2 p.m. hour, I'd like us to talk about making history in the space of glamping. Yes, South Africa is set to host travel history as it prepares to come through with the Glamping Expo, the first of its kind, the first ever on the African continent. It's going to be taking place between the 20th and 21st of June here in Johannesburg City, in South Africa, all right, at the Johannesburg Expo Center. So we're going to be speaking to event lead, that is Gugu Stole, who is the founder of Glamping Adventures, and she's going to tell us more about this wonderful event. So not only are we new to gourmet shots, we are now new to glamping experiences as well, which is so exciting. I really am looking forward to finding out about and sharing with you, of course, as a listener, in terms of what glamping really is. You know, what is that experience about? Especially if we're going to do it under an African sky. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who can we take with us? You know, what are the costs involved? All of that information will be coming through just after 2, so make sure that you tune in for that. At Channel Africa 1, that's our suggestion box, or Twitter, as it's known. So should you wish to send us any suggestions for this program, for lifestyle, what is happening in your part of the African region, or just to comment on what we are talking about on The Upside, you're welcome to tweet us there. Use the hashtag The Upside so that we can track the conversation with you. Let's check in with the news. It's 2 o'clock. Jolana Tulo Mwepe is standing by.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top stories this hour: the mortal remains of the former Zambian president will not be repatriated to his home country today, and Iran's supreme leader says his country will never surrender. Good afternoon. The mortal remains of the former Zambian President Edgar Lungu will not be repatriated to his home country today. A small crowd had gathered at the Lanseria airport in Johannesburg, South Africa, in anticipation of Lungu's repatriation. Lungu, who was the 6th elected Zambian leader, passed away earlier this month while receiving medical treatment in South Africa. The family of former late president and the current administration, led by President Hakainde Hichilema, have reached an agreement about his funeral. The days of mourning have also been extended to the 23rd of June. Channel Africa's Michael Mbewe is at Lanseria Airport and reports that there is currently a meeting underway between the military, South Africa's International Relations Department, and Lungu's family.
So at the moment, we are, there's a meeting that is going on between the generals and then also the members, the officials of the South African Department of Relations and International Relations Cooperation, and then as well as also the family. We've been alerted that the meeting at the moment is going on because the ceremony is supposed to start at around 9:30, and I think by 12 would have been done.
Chief Electoral Officer of South Africa's Independent Electoral Commission, Sai Mamabolo, says there are certain policy discussions that the Electoral Commission does not involve itself with. He was responding to questions on whether the IEC should be given more powers to police political party funding. The IEC is holding a 2-day symposium in Durban in the KwaZulu-Natal province. The event will reflect on the challenges and successes of the Political Party Funding Act since the implementation in 2021. Mamabolo maintains that the IEC's position is to enforce its mandate in accordance to the law laid out by Parliament.
We felt that it's a policy matter that the IEC should not involve itself with. And I think we are correct that it's a matter that must be decided by the policyholder. So you can see that we are really trying to navigate a trapezium to ensure that there are areas in which we can be involved and there are areas in which we can be involved because of the sensitive political nature of the topic we're handling today.
Controversial Kenyan televangelist Gilbert Deya, who claimed he created miraculous pregnancies, has died in a road crash. Police told local media that Deya died on the spot yesterday evening after his vehicle was involved in an accident with a university bus and another vehicle near the town of Kisumu in western Kenya. At least 30 other people were reportedly injured, including a person identified as his wife and a passenger in his vehicle and 15 students in the bus. Deya, who ran a church in London, rose to infamy in the early 2000s following his claim that he could help infertile couples conceive miracle babies through prayer. Investigations later linked his church to an alleged child trafficking ring, leading to his arrest and extradition from the UK 8 years ago after a decade-long legal battle. He was acquitted of the charges in 2023 due to insufficient evidence. Still in Kenya, a police officer has been arrested over the shooting of an unarmed civilian yesterday during protests in the capital Nairobi. Tensions remain high in Kenya as demonstrations were sparked by the killing of 31-year-old blogger and teacher Albert Ojwang while in police custody. Graphic videos have surfaced showing police brutality during the protests, further fueling public outrage over alleged extrajudicial killings by security forces. Channel Africa's correspondent Alex Kiari.
The statement condemned that incident and acknowledged that that was an oversight and that the officer involved has since been arrested and he has since been identified. He was shot in the head at point blank range and he was actually not armed. He did not resist arrest. He was basically selling the face masks to the protesters, just like it happens every time there is a protest. And the two officers just confronted him as he tried to pin himself on one of the doors of the shops. After that shooting, they left him there as he fell to the ground and then walked away. And he was later on taken to one of the referral hospitals in the city center.
Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei says his country will never surrender as Israel strikes continue for a sixth day. In a pre-recorded message released in the past hour, Ayatollah also warned that the US joining Israel's attacks would have serious irreparable consequences. The UN nuclear watchdog says the latest IDF strikes have hit 2 Iranian facilities, making parts for centrifuges. Reports from Iran's capital, Tehran, speak of worsening shortages of fuel and food. The BBC's Sebastian Usher has the story.
The Israeli military said 20 armed sites in Tehran had been hit. There was another evacuation order for another district in Iran, so clearly a continuing intensification and widening of the targets. In Israel, we had 2 barrages overnight of Iranian missiles. The big question is if Israel believes that the only real end of this offensive is the complete demolition of any possibility of Iran having a nuclear weapon, then they have to go for the deep underground nuclear plants, and those can only be hit effectively by the bomb that the US has.
Recapping the top story this hour, the mortal remains of the former Zambian President Edgar Lungu will not be repatriated to his home country today. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Cholani Tulongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
8 minutes into 2 p.m. in Central African time. Welcome to the golden hour of The Upside, where we talk all things lifestyle, exclusive to Channel Africa on channelafrica.co.za. Of course, we are on satellite as well. We've got an SABC Plus app. I don't know if you've downloaded it, but do yourself a favor, download that app. You'll be able to catch various radio stations under the South African Broadcasting Corporation umbrella, including your favorite, that is Channel Africa. We are there as well. It is absolutely free of charge to download, so do the right thing. All right, so in this golden hour, we are going to be talking all things glamping. Okay, if you're new to the space of glamping, it's like a glamorous, I think I'm describing it correctly, a glamorous way of camping, as it were, you know. So we are looking at South Africa being set to make travel history as it prepares to host Africa's very first glamping expo between the dates 20th and 21st of June. And we're going to be speaking to the event lead, that is Gugus Tole, who is founder of Glamping Adventures. So it sounds very exciting, doesn't it? Adding a little bit of glamour to your camping experience. I think for somebody that doesn't like camping in its traditional sense, you might just want to experiment with ideas around glamping. So that conversation is coming through in a moment after the musical break.
Annika Longi sur Channel Africa.
Nous allons danser au son de Haya, que je dédicace à vous tous, chers auditeurs, qui êtes en train de suivre cette émission Mix Vibration. N'oubliez pas, vous pouvez nous suivre à partir de l'application SABC+. Vous choisissez Channel Africa pour suivre l'émission en direct. Nous allons danser au son de Haya.
Annika Longi, tous les dimanches sur Mix Vibration.
Zochitika ndimodapiri kamlondola wazochitika pena paliponse
nduna wazamalonda kumalawi aletsa kampani yopanga shuga ya Ilovo yomwe ndi nthambi ya Ilovo Sugar Group Limited kuti isiye kutumiza shuga kumaiko akunja. Malingana ndi nduna ya zamalonda Vitumbuko Mumba, izi zithandiza kuti shuga yemwe yakusowa pamsika azipezeka. Ndiye pano ndili ndi George Muhangu amene ali mu mzinda wa Blantyre mu dziko la Malawi. Chimene chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndi chani?
Chomwe chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndichonena kuti panopo ili ngati off season ya makampani a Ilovo Sugar Malawi, kunena kuti sakutha kupanga shugayi okwanira chifukwa akukolola. Ndiye akamaliza kukolola pameneno atayambeno sopano kugaya shugayi kuti azipezeka. Chinanso ndichonena kuti ma distributors amene akumakagula sugar kaya ndi ku Ilovo kaya ndi kusalima sugar akumagulisa kumaiko akunja ngati Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Mozambique.
Zochitika ndimodapiri lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa.
Your afternoons just got even better.
Fresh and exciting.
The Upside, hooking you up with today's news
From an African perspective. And Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some Lucifer knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online.
This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique, with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique, with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia.
Desert blues from the African continent. Coming through with Ali Farkotore, representing Mali and much of the grand space of traversing through Malian deserts, all the way up, River Nile, all the way up to other places and spaces, even up to Burkinabe as well. Coming through a song titled Tore Sukora on our programming here that we call The Upside. Thank you very much for tuning in. Matsheko Musito in for Tebogo Lekhuleni until 4 p.m. in Central African time. 16 minutes past 2 p.m. The golden hour of the show comes through with glamping experiences. And like I was saying to you a little bit earlier before we're going to get into this conversation, is that isn't it fascinating that you don't have to do things the traditional way, that you can glamorize things, that you can gourmet things. I mean, we were gourmeting shots and cocktails in the first hour, and we're about to glamorize the camping experience. South Africa is set to make travel history as it prepares to host Africa's very first glamping expo that's going to be taking place on the 20th as well as the 21st of June this year at the Johannesburg Expo Center here in South Africa. The event is led by Gugu Stole, who is founder of Glamping Adventures, and it aims to bring together everyone and connect people with the world of glamping, as it were. And we really are going to be talking about what glamping is, what the experience is. We're going to look at eco-consciousness when it comes to the space of traveling, which is very, very exciting. And I think when we look at where the world is going in terms of travel experience and just general collective consciousness, this is such a wonderful space to tap into. Innovation, experiences, all under one roof. When we look at this expo, like I literally want to scream and shout and dance. It's so exciting. Gugu is on the line with us. Gugu, welcome to the show. So wonderful to catch up with you this afternoon.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. I think before we talk about the expo that's taking place on the 20th and 21st, I'm very interested to find out about Gugu's, how you found yourself in the space of glamping, and what that is essentially.
So, yeah, I think we'll start with glamping. Glamping, comes from glamorous camping.
Right.
So it's for people who love the outdoors, who love nature, but don't want to get their hands dirty. So with the glamping, you don't pitch your own tents. It's not your ordinary camping. You arrive, your tents are up, they're fully furnished. You have running water and suite bathrooms. So with glamping, it starts from entry level to your 5-star Egyptian cotton type of, all happening, in nature, very, what I always say, it's traveling in style, without losing your creature comforts. With my background in brand and marketing, I really wanted, to do something that will see me, give back to the communities. And I then, identify tourism as such tool. I'm a traveler, I'm curious about South Africa and our beautiful spaces, and felt that this is the way that we can make an impact in the communities that we visit.
All right. It sounds very exciting. I think for anyone that likes anything to do with not having to pitch your own tent, already you've got their attention. Let's talk about you establishing Glamping Adventures and what that space is looking to curate for whoever is interested.
So Glamping Adventures is basically, a tour operator that organizes, bespoke glamping stays. So if you are into, nature, if you are into eco, travel, then you're at the right space. We really organize from, your itineraries, your transportation, how to get there, So it's really a full service package where you don't have to do anything but just show up. From your meals are prepared, breakfast, lunches, and dinner. We take you out to activities. We take you out, to local attractions, so that it's a full-on service that focuses on glamping. Glamping is all about unique stays. Some people think it's just tents. No, glamping, include your cave accommodation, your yacht accommodation, your glass domes. So any unique structure is glamping that takes less from the environment in terms of putting up manufacturing and so on.
Right. Gugu Stole is joining us. We're talking about all things glamping. And if this is a first-time experience for you, you are about to experience it with an exposition, as it were. And they are coming through with an expo in Johannesburg, 20th and 21st of June. We take a break. When we return, we're going to talk about this expo and what it holds, what's in store for you and I at this expo. We're back after this.
Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Whatever you want to hear about today's talk, you can only get it on the upside. Every weekday, 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
All right, 22 p.m. in Central African Time. We are speaking to the founder of Glamping Adventures, Gugu Stole. She is also heading what is going to be Africa's very first glamping expo over a 2-day period in this month. And we're going to talk about that. Gugu, thank you very much for staying on the line. Let's talk about just what glamping and, the popularization, if I could put it that way, thereof, when we look at, let's say the South African market. Are you seeing, men and women, coming through in the glamping space? What are the trends at the moment?
Yeah, we're seeing a huge uptake, in glamping. We're seeing even the searches on the internet. People are searching for unique stays. People are searching for eco, friendly accommodation. I think the hotel stays are almost a thing of the past when people say, I want to travel differently. So the trends are showing that we've got a movement of eco-conscious travelers who are saying, I want to give back to the communities that I visit more than, just coming and take. So it's a very inclusive way of travel. It includes your rural areas and communities, so it's not concentrated in your cities or the more popular areas. So the geographical spread is great, allowing greater economic participation by your previously impoverished communities as well.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about that just in a lead up to the expo that's coming through in not to the too distant future. Let's talk about the expo. We spoke about it a little bit in my introduction, but what is in store for that? This is Africa's very first glamping expo, so it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yes. So the expo is taking place in a couple of days. It's the 20th to the 21st of June at the Johannesburg Expo Center, where we are bringing everybody under the glamping value chain under one roof. We realize we're running glamping adventures that we are, as the glamping providers, are scattered everywhere. You've got your farm stays, you've got this person owning a cabin here, there, and we thought that it would be wonderful to actually create a structure for this subsector of tourism, to get everybody under one roof, to chart the course. It's a unique and it's a new niche, that needs, people to collaborate, to come together and ensure sustainability. So we are having exhibitors, from varied, backgrounds in the tourism sector. So we're talking about, glamping lodges. We're talking about manufacturers of these luxury tents. We're talking about landowners who are interested in glamping. They're going to be here as well. We are going to be talking to investors as well. So we've got a series of panel discussions, running from the morning until the afternoon, where investors will be talking to the audience about how to access finance, should you want to go into this space. We'll have retailers, we'll have outdoor enthusiasts, and of course our visitors. So it's going to be very fun. It's going to be educational. It's going to be an opportunity for everybody for the first time in the glamping sector to come together.
That sounds incredibly exciting, and very well thought out. I think, in its expansion and, you looking at glamping holistically as a subsector of tourism, as you mentioned, it's very, very exciting. I think this leads me to my next question then around, the expo and perhaps how, the conversation, I think the dialogue that's going to be happening at the expo, how that will filter into contributing to conversations perhaps around community development and local tourism. Where is glamping going to take local tourism in South Africa, if we use South Africa as an example?
I think when we talk about tourism development, I think this is what South Africa has been waiting for. Glamping in its core, is very inclusive. It's authentic. So it goes to your off the beaten track. It goes to the beautiful, mountains and rivers and seaside, in places that have previously not been looked at. So in trying to curb over tourism in the more popular areas. This is where we see, the glamping stays being developed. So where we developed glamping routes, along the area. Provinces of South Africa. So it's and also South Africa has it all. We've got safari, we've got the sea, we've got the mountains. So it really gives us an upper hand, in becoming the glamping leader, in the world, so to say.
Oh, we definitely are glamping leaders. I mean, by the sounds of it, this is so wonderful. Google, before we wrap up, I'm a listener. I want to experience this expo, perhaps as a business person. I loved how you mentioned landowners, for example. You're looking to expand. You're looking to perhaps do something different, contribute to traveling differently, as it were. So for anyone who would like to attend, perhaps just for the experience, just to learn about glamping and the space thereof, learn about traveling differently, or if I want to participate as a delegate, or if I want to come and showcase what I've got, whether it's in the space of tech perhaps, or coming up with eco-friendly structures within glamping. How can I get involved in the expo? Are there applications? Where can I go?
So we still are open for visitors to register. So it's a very simple process, and we have complimentary tickets. So please make your way to Johannesburg Expo Center. You can download your complimentary ticket on ticketpro.co.za. And just go to the Glamping Expo. It is complimentary. You will arrive at Gate 2 at Nasrec and just head straight to Hall 10 of the Expo, where all these exciting things that we've mentioned, dynamic and immersive experiences, where you'll see innovative structures and, premier destinations, green technology. You all witness it here, interesting speakers. So please do come as a visitor. We have closed for exhibitors at this point. As you can imagine, I'm on site as we speak, and we are busy with the exhibition build. But we've got our website, which is glampingexpo.africa. Even for future, we invite exhibitors, we invite lodge owners, we invite tour operators to come and to the next one, because it's going to be an annual event, as exhibitors, as speakers, as experts in their field of technology and glamping, in their field of ecotourism. So that we are excited to say it's going to be annual. If you've missed the exhibition this year, it's still going to happen next year, but you can still come then as a visitor.
All right. If you'd like to visit, because there's just so much happening, I encourage you to go and check it out. Just say that website again. Glampingexpo.africa.
Glampingexpo.africa. You can get your ticket there, or you can get it at ticketpro.co.za.
All right. This is the stage has been set. Okay, Africa's very first travel expo, and thanks to Gugu Stole for joining us, of course, in her capacity as founder of this expo and the founder of Glamping Adventures. 14:31. We go straight to sports with Figile Lengwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
And in this hour, we begin with the cricket news. Proteas women captain Laura Volvaert has lauded her opening partnership with Tasman Breds as being the heart of their win over the West Indies in the third and the final ODI in Barbados, which gave them a 2-1 series win. Volvaert scored 75, while Breds notched up her fourth century in the 50-over international circuit to lead the team to a total of 278. Rain had a lot to do with the proceedings as South Africa won by 166 via Duckworth-Lewis method, and the skipper is happy with the synergy up front.
Very pleased. Had a tough couple of games, but just a really conscious change in mindset today. I think I had a lot of discussions with the coaches on how to go about the innings and really take on their power play a bit more. So tried a lot more brave options today, and it paid off, which was really nice to see. And then Taz did the exact same. Obviously, really nice that she scored the 100, put us in a great position. So.
Wolvaardt was also happy to be back among the runs for the team and contribute with a bigger score towards victory. This is her first half-century since December last year against England in Potchefstroom.
Very important. When it doesn't go well, it gets spoken about a lot. I think we've put on a lot of good stands in the past couple of years batting together. It's really nice batting with her. I think we almost don't really need to look at where the ball is. We just know when to run and stuff like that, and did really well encouraging each other to be nice and positive today. It was nice to bat out in the middle. I think we have quite a good record together, so that change in mindset and that good intent today was awesome.
Now, motor racing, South African circuit Kyalami says plans to upgrade its facility to Grade 1 status have been approved by the FIA, which would make it eligible to host Formula 1 races once the necessary works are complete. Kyalami is among 3 venues vying to bring F1 back to the African continent, although the sports CEO Stefano Domenicali indicated last month that a deal was still a long way off. Kyalami, located north of Johannesburg, last hosted a Grand Prix in 1993, which was also the last time F1 raced on the African continent. The circuit is listed as Grade 2 by the FIA, meaning it would not be able to host an F1 return in its current state. But plans put forward by Kyalami and the UK-based Apex Circuit Designs have the potential to bring it up to a Grade 1 standard. PGA Tour says Commissioner Jay Monahan will step down when his contract ends next year. Monahan, who replaced predecessor Tim Fincham in 2017, will gradually hand over his day-to-day responsibilities to newly appointed Chief Executive Brian Roleb. Roleb joined the tour after the decade with the National Football League, where he recently served as Chief Media and Business Officer. And finally, with the bowling, Namibia's national men's bowling champion Allen Langenstrassen has expressed satisfaction with his preparation for the upcoming event. The event is scheduled to take place from the 16th to the 30th of September. He says he's ready to take on the world's biggest stars when he represents Namibia later this year at the prestigious 2025 World Bowling Championship in Australia. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figile Lungwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Annika Longi sur Channel Africa.
Nous allons danser au son de Haya, que je dédicace à vous tous, chers auditeurs, qui êtes en train de suivre cette émission Mix Vibration. N'oubliez pas, vous pouvez nous suivre à partir de l'application SABC+. Vous choisissez Channel Africa pour suivre l'émission en direct. Nous allons danser au son de Haya.
Annika Longi, tous les dimanches sur Mix Vibration.
A quick check-in with Econ News. Nosipho Zuma standing by with the latest.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Mateo. Good afternoon. In your business news this hour, energy experts have been focusing on the need to increase microgrids usage on the second day of the Africa Energy Forum in Cape Town, South Africa. Microgrids are described as small connection networks of electricity users with a local source of supply. South Africa is currently preparing to roll out 14,000 kilometers of transmission lines over the next 10 years under the new National Transmission Company of South Africa. The G20 working group wants to ensure that the electrification of 300 million households by 2030. The South African National Energy Development Institute Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Titus Mate, elaborates.
We need to harmonize policies, we need to harmonize grid codes. There's quite a lot of things that have to happen. But we should not just only be focusing on electricity trading. We must also focus on other commodities. For instance, trading on market, to trade not only on electricity, but trade on gas, trade on oil, trade on gas, resources that needs to be moved across. We need to maybe look at liberalizing the immigration rules so that we're able to move people from one country to another.
Morocco is planning to review its trade agreement with Turkey and push for more Turkish investment to offshore an expanding trade deficit driven largely by Turkish fabric imports. Morocco cabinet member in charge of trade, Omar Gira, will soon visit Turkey, Morocco's sixth biggest trading partner, to discuss measures aimed at mitigating the $3 billion deficit. Tabitha Lehoko compiled this report.
Initially signed in 2004, Morocco and Turkey introduced amendments to the free trade deal 5 years ago, including a 90% tariff on Turkish textile and clothing imports to protect Moroccan manufacturers and jobs. Moroccan companies still import large volumes of Turkish fabric, however, to meet the needs of the country's apparel sector. According to official data, Morocco's overall trade deficit widened 22.8% to $12 billion in the first 4 months this year.
A 90,000 metric ton cargo of gasoline from Nigeria's Dangote refinery will be sold out of the region for the first time and bound for Asia since the 650,000 barrel per day refinery started gasoline exports last year. The cargoes have stayed in West Africa. Mercuria is due to load the cargo on the 22nd of June. Dangote refinery spokesperson say that the company sells its products to those who are willing to give the highest price. The boss of OpenAI, Sam Altman, says members of his team have been getting giant offers from rival tech firm Meta, including $100 million signing bonuses. Meta, which owns the Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, is attempting to boost the artificial intelligence side of its business, including recently spending $14 billion to buy 49% of the startup Scale AI. However, Altman said at least so far, none of his best people have been persuaded to jump ship. And finally, the subscription-based streaming service Netflix says it has struck a deal TF1 that will give subscribers in France access to the French broadcaster's content. The agreement is the first it's made with a major traditional television company. The BBC's Risto Pugo reports.
C'est donc une deuxième nuit rythmée par la cible.
The agreement between TF1 and Netflix makes sense in a number of ways. The US streaming service has traditionally been weak on news, sports and live events, all of which are among the strengths of TF1, the most popular French broadcaster. So the deal will improve the position of Netflix on one of Europe's biggest markets and may provide a template to follow elsewhere. For TF1, working with Netflix gives a way of increasing its reach, but the company says its main focus will be on developing its own streaming service.
Your financial indicators: $1 US in Nigeria is trading at 1,543 naira 57, and Botswana is 13.21. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shillings 60, and in Zambia is 24 kwacha 31. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 49. Russia is 78 rubles 50. India is 86 rupees 24. China at 7 yuan 18, and in South Africa $1 is trading at 17 rand 88. $1 is trading at 73 pence to the British pound and 86 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,383 and platinum at $1,278 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $76.06 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Nosi Pozuma.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay logged right here.
Je, una jambo lolote akilini mwako? Je, una shauku kuhusu masuala muhimu? Na je, una maoni ambayo unataka yasikike? Kweli, hili jukwaa ni la kwako. Piga simu au tuandikie kwenda WhatsApp namba alama ya kujumulisha 2760552594 na tutakupigia simu.
Mtangazaji wa habari zetu za Afrika Kusini mjini Johannesburg.
Hivyo unaweza kuwa mshirika kwenye matangazo yetu. Sio mazungumzo tu, ni fursa yako ya kuchangia maoni yako na kushirikiana na jumuiya ya wasikilizaji wanaotamani mtazamo wako. Tufuate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Tembelea tovuti yetu www.channelafrica.co.za na uwe tayari kushiriki na kuchangia maoni yako kwenye Channel Africa. Channel Africa, mtazamo wa Kiafrika.
Tune in and turn up the volume. This is Channel Africa.
Trouble me, oh, she just bust my brain. She say she want my sugar cane, she twist my dress.
9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana.
African continent coming through with the What They Call classic Me So So. Oh, so me, so. Yes, I think I got it right. There we go. Some wonderful music coming through. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is The Upside, bring you all things lifestyle. We've been talking about wonderful cocktails and beautiful things to sip on. We spoke about expos and glamping, the experience of travel and glamping. And really, I think if you want to travel differently, this is something to look out for, the expo that's coming through in Johannesburg. Right now, we want to talk about what caught your eye. What caught your eye? Let us know on our Twitter handle. It is at Channel Africa 1. Use the hashtag The Upside and let us know what it is. It could be something in your own community. It could be something in the workplace. Perhaps you're working on an interesting research paper and came out with some interesting findings. Listen, anything goes. So share with us what caught your eye. I'm sitting here with our Madame Producer. Her name is Nombriselo Tango. And she's going to tell us what caught her eye. But I'll go first.
Okay.
What caught my eye is not that great, unfortunately. Just looking at the space of what's happening on social media and the trend around Dr. Nandipa, Magudumani, thank you, and her co-accused, Thabo Bester. And it's just fascinating to me how people are so immersed in celebrating what she's going through. You know, and nobody's necessarily talking about the nitty-gritties of the case. I think that had its time. But I find it so fascinating that people, men and women alike, are just almost, I pick up an energy of celebrating a downfall, you know. And for me, it's really sad in many ways because, you know what, this is life. You know, this is life. So many things can happen at any given time. It is actually grace that you are not in that kind of position because anything can happen. And it's not necessarily that you could end up in prison because the circumstances would be you're a criminal. It could be anything, really. It could be an accident. It could be something that was beyond your control. You could have been framed, anything. So for people to really use so much energy to pour into something like that, really, just for me, I mean, we've got so many problems to solve on the African continent. Children are hungry. There's war in the Congo. There were climatic catastrophes that happened in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa. There's all kinds of things happening. I mean, there's a war in Israel and Iraq, for crying out loud. And you're worried about somebody's looks. I think that's very concerning to me.
I don't think they are celebrating. You could be right on your side, on your timeline. But I think it's more of, let's not forget why they are both there. Right? And I agree in the stance that they are focusing on other things. Her physical, how she looks, right? She looks like she has lost weight. Obviously, I mean, she doesn't have Burger King in there. Obviously, she's not going to look physically the same way as how she stepped in. And that's just throughout. This is just with all inmates, most inmates, that you're not going to look the same way.
And the stress of the trial, of course, that comes with that as well.
But she has only herself to blame. She literally has only herself to blame. She allowed this to happen in her life. So, are we supposed to cry? No.
No, I hear that. I don't think that we should be coddling her situation. But I also think that it is, I mean, in my personal opinion, it's a complete waste of energy to be focused on that at this time. You know, somebody's looks who's in prison, you know, and making a complete mockery of that when we really could be pouring so much energy into other things. You know, how are we going to solve the issue of crime? You know, why do people get into criminal activity? Perhaps if we were to transmute the story and turn it into a life lesson, you know, what can we learn? What is this case teaching us? How is it going to move society forward? What can we learn from the experience of somebody that seemingly had everything and then decided to take that route. You know, what could be happening? We could look at it as psychology. There's so much conversation around mental health and building capacity. There's opportunity for us to talk about that, using that case as an example. Celebrating, love emojis, woohoo, look at her. That is really just strange to me. But I completely understand that we're not all the same. But I would transmute that energy and use it a little bit differently.
I agree. There's no need for them to waste their energy on focusing on how a woman looks.
A complete waste of energy.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that there's two people in the case, and only one gender is getting the flag for it. So
because
I find
with
that
Tebogo
fascinating.
Lekhuleni actually focusing on him requesting a laptop and all of that. With her, it's more so of how she looks. So I agree with that. 100%.
There we go. What caught your eye?
You know Medea, right? You know Tyler Perry, right?
Tyler Perry. 100%.
He has been in the news for mostly good things. His movies, his cinematography, and the storyline, especially with his recent one, right? However, there's an actor by the name of Derek Dixon, and he is suing Tyler Perry $260 million US for sexual harassment. And people on social media, and this is where it comes to what you were saying, you guys are focusing on one thing and not the bigger picture. And people are more so focusing on, this is one way of coming out of the closet. That's the main thing that people were saying, because he never said who he's interested in, what he identifies as, and that's what people are mostly focusing on, and not necessarily the case itself. So they met back in 2019, and he is claiming that he was promised a role, and this is after him and Tyler obviously met and got friendly, and now this is the lead up to the story, right? He got the role and he acted, but every single season, or at the end of the season rather, it was more so of they're not getting rid of the role, or they're not getting rid of, like in terms of death, or they're not making it certain that you'll be joining the following season. So every single time he was never sure that is he going to come back or not. And I'm assuming he's saying all of that to show that he had to, talk to Tyler in a certain way, and whatever. Where do we then say, how do you then prove, because this happened in Tyler's home, the last incident happened in Tyler's home in 2020, back in September. So how do you then prove? Because right now it's so easy for someone to say, yeah, Tyler is in the wrong, this person won't just come out of nowhere. And then the other, which also the lawyer said that, listen, this person is just trying to basically get one up. They're trying to get money. They're trying to, So how do you then weigh in when it's private? And so far there's no proof. They haven't provided us with proof of any sexual harassment or coercion or anything of that sort. This is he said, she said type of situation.
Look, it's always tough. I think in a world where social media has become the arbiter for legal matters, it's very difficult, and I really just think people need to stay away from looking at what he said, she said on social media, especially because we need to look at this now with the confines of the law. How is the law going to unpack this? And I'm all for social commentary. I think there are some wonderful perspectives that can come from people, gender activists, people that work within the legal and justice systems around the world, that may come through with some interesting information as to how we can look at this case. But, I don't have enough information. I like Tyler Perry's films. I was really disappointed. And my mind started to run with a host of other black men that have been put under the same ring of fire. Russell Simmons, who was a mogul in the space of hip-hop music and recording. And he was also accused of all kinds of sexual assault and harassment of women. Bill Cosby, listen, do we even want to go there? That was so tragic. and so many others. There's the P. Diddy case that's come in. And now we're seeing Tyler Perry. So there are just so many questions about, things coming up out of the dark into the light at this time, and also just what the facts are. So the arbiter at the moment is the law, is what I gotta say. Okay?
Yeah.
But listen, I'm saying we can open ourselves up for conversation.
Let me ask you this.
From other people as well.
So if Tyler, and after all of this entire case, he's found guilty, will you still watch his movies? So the same way that when R. Kelly was found guilty, people then, he was blacklisted, guys. Let's just be honest. We cancelled him. A lot of people stopped listening to his music. Until later on they informed us that, listen, if you listen, some of the victims get royalties, etc. So with Tyler, if ever it comes out that he is,
That's an interesting question, a very good question. And I've always believed that we need to fight injustices with our rands, our dollars, and our pounds and our euros. That's how we fight injustices. So if he's found guilty, I most likely will not support that, because I don't condone or support any kind of abuse, especially of a sexual nature against vulnerable members of our communities. Unacceptable. The answer, if I was put on the spot, is an absolute no.
No, I agree.
No, it's a no from me.
My question also is the amount that the 260 something million. How do they then calculate
get to
that amount? Because someone may say that is way too exorbitant, and someone may say no, it's affecting this person's career. And that's how they calculate it. So I'm trying to understand, how did they get to that particular figure?
Listen, I think at this stage we need more information, without a doubt. There is just too much speculation around that particular case, but it's a story that the world is watching very closely for several reasons. And perhaps we should get a legal expert and see how, I think high profile cases, high profile in terms of, somebody who's a public figure or who's headlining the news, how are these cases handled? I think also with the commentary from social media, how does that affect the case as well? So it's one we're going to be watching closely. It is now us approaching the last hour of the Upside. Thank you very much. Please continue to let us know what caught your eye. We'd love to hear from you. It's 3 o'clock. Jolane Tulo Mwepe is standing by with the latest news.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top stories is how the family of Zambia's former President Edgar Lungu halts the return of his body from South Africa, and Iran's supreme leader says his country will never surrender. Good afternoon. The family of Zambia's former President Edgar Lungu has halted the return of his body from South Africa, accusing the government of breaching key agreements over his funeral. The arrangements had been finalized and his remains were due to be flown back home today on a private charter plane after days of uncertainty and negotiations between the family and the government. The family now says it finds it very difficult to believe that the government will stick to the end of the agreement. Family spokesperson Makebi Zulu also said that the government had released a draft program of the funeral without consultation with the family. President Hakainde Hichilema was scheduled to receive the body upon its arrival at the airport in the capital Lusaka. The former president's body was said to be taken to his residence in Lusaka, where it would lie in state ahead of his state funeral on the 22nd of June and the burial the following day. Chief Electoral Officer of South Africa's Independent Electoral Commission, Saima Mabulo, says there are certain policy discussions that the Electoral Commission does not involve itself with. He was responding to questions on whether the IEC should be given more powers to police political party funding. The IEC is holding a 2-day symposium in Durban in the KwaZulu-Natal province. The event will reflect on the challenges and successes of the Political Party Funding Act since its implementation in 2021. Mamabolo maintains that the IEC's position is to enforce its mandate in accordance to the law laid out by Parliament.
We felt that it's a policy matter that the IEC should not involve itself with. And I think we are correct. that it's a matter that must be decided by the policyholder. So you can see that we are really trying to navigate the trapezium to ensure that there are areas in which we can be involved and there are areas in which we can be involved because of the sensitive political nature of the topic we're handling today.
Controversial Kenyan televangelist Gilbert Deya, who claimed he created miraculous pregnancies, has died in a road crash. Police told local media that Deya died on the spot yesterday evening after his vehicle was involved in an accident with a university bus and another vehicle near the town of Kisumu in western Kenya. At least 30 other people were reportedly injured, including a person identified as his wife and a passenger in his vehicle and 15 students in the bus. Deya, who ran a church in London, rose to infamy in the early 2000s following his claim that he could help infertile couples conceive miracle babies through prayer. Investigations later linked his church to an alleged child trafficking ring, leading to his arrest and extradition from the UK 8 years ago after a decade-long battle. He was acquitted of the charges in 2023 due to insufficient evidence. Reports from the Democratic Republic of Congo say the country's justice minister has resigned over allegations that he embezzled millions of dollars from a prison project. On Monday, Constant Mutumba was banned from leaving the capital Kinshasa by the country's top court. The BBC's Jacob Evans has the details.
For a man who said he could smell embezzlement in the room during a televised debate and that anyone caught siphoning government funds should be given the death penalty, this saga is rather embarrassing. Constant Mutamba is accused of taking $19 million from funds set aside for the construction of a new prison. Over the weekend, Congo's National Assembly voted overwhelmingly to strip him of his political immunity, paving the way for legal proceedings to begin. He's also facing charges of contempt of court after claiming there was a political conspiracy being waged against him.
Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei says his country will never surrender as Israel strikes continue for a sixth day. In a pre-recorded message released in the past hour, Ayatollah also warned that the US joining Israel's attacks would have serious, irreparable consequences. The UN nuclear watchdog says the latest IDF strikes have hit 2 Iranian facilities. Reports from Iran's capital Tehran speak of worsening shortages of fuel and food. The BBC's Sebastian Asher has the details.
The Israeli military said 20 armed sites in Tehran had been hit. There was another evacuation order for another district in Iran, so clearly a continuing intensification and widening of the targets. In Israel, we had 2 barrages overnight of Iranian missiles. The big question is if Israel believes that the only real end of this offensive is the complete demolition of any possibility of Iran having a nuclear weapon, then they have to go for the deep underground nuclear plants, and those can only be hit effectively by the bomb that the US has.
Recapping the top story this hour, the family of Zambia's former President Edgar Lungu has halted the return of his body from South Africa, accusing the government of breaching key agreements about his funeral. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Cholani Tulongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Past 3 p.m. in Central African time. We have officially entered the last hour of The Upside. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Matsako Mosito. In case you've just joined us, I'm in for Tebogo Lekhuleni until 4 p.m. All right, so this is us looking at all things lifestyle, and there is just so much happening all around South Africa. We're going to be crisscrossing through to Gqeberha as they host their first ever Vogue Ballroom celebration. I know that's something you want to find out about, so that's what we're going to be looking at, and we're going to be talking about who's hosting this particular occasion and how you can possibly get involved. So that's something wonderful to look forward to. Anything that's happening in your part of the African region, we always look at things from the lens of an African perspective. So whether you are tuning in Ghana, in Rwanda, in Zambia, in Mozambique, in Zimbabwe, listen, anywhere and everywhere, in Nigeria, which is so big for all things lifestyle and glam and all the beautiful things, please let us know on Twitter at Channel Africa 1. Use the hashtag The Upside. We get into our conversation looking at wonderful events that's taking place in Gqeberha, as mentioned, after the musical break.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9.
In recent weeks, East Africa has seen a disturbing rise in human rights violations. In Kenya, digital activist Rose Njeri was arrested under the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act after creating a tool for citizens to oppose the Finance Bill 2025. Meanwhile, in Tanzania, Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi and Ugandan lawyer Agatha Atuhaire reported being detained, tortured, and sexually assaulted by security officers.
East Africa needs a reset. We need to get back East Africa to where the founding fathers are. You know, when President Nyerere and his colleagues, Jomo Kenyatta and the Ugandan counterparts fought for independence. They fought for independence to get Africans out of poverty, to get Africans out of slavery. The leaders who took up power have since gotten into regression.
Neto Agostino, co-leader of the United Green Movement Party.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine.
Este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África, com Remo Samo e João Yabalá.
O surto da cólera em Angola tem causado grande preocupação, afetando já mais de metade das províncias do país. Simultaneamente, a Agência dos Estados Unidos para o Desenvolvimento Internacional, USAID, um dos maiores doadores mundiais de assistência humanitária, decidiu não priorizar os países com maior incidência de malária. Para discutirmos as causas do alastramento da cólera em Angola e os impactos dessa decisão da USAID, convidamos o Dr. Jeremias Agostinho, médico e mestre em saúde pública, para partilhar a sua visão sobre o tema.
A doença, nesse momento, representa o maior risco de saúde pública que nós temos. Nos últimos anos, a nossa preocupação esteve sempre centrada com os casos de malária, os casos de tuberculose e também de infecção por VIH-Sida. A forma como, em pouco menos de 2 meses, os casos de cólera vêm aumentando, acaba por representar, nessa altura, um dos maiores desafios que o país tem. É expectável que, nesta fase, o número de casos venha a aumentar.
De segunda a sexta-feira, das 20 às 21 horas locais, este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África.
Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Baby, don't mind on your seat, come give me that. Jump up on my body like animal. Dance make you feel like carnival. I go lock you down like criminal. One touch feeling like 1 million. People just say what you like a cinema. Wine bandit thing like carnival.
Until 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the
be with you this afternoon. So, in acknowledgement of Pride Month, the city of Gqeberha in South Africa is set to make history with its first ever Vogue ballroom event, hosted by the Keep Dancing Experience, I beg your pardon, the Renaissance ball inspired by Beyonce's Renaissance era and the global ballroom culture, takes place on Saturday the 29th of June at the Black Box Studio. So as I understand it, it's going to be a very vibrant celebration looking at, the lifestyle and celebrations of queer identity, fashion, live Vogue battles, drag performances. It just sounds like it's going to be an absolute jump, as the youngsters would say it. So a pleasure to be speaking to somebody who's at the helm of this particular event. Chris Swartboy, aka Chrissy Dance, founder of KDX, is the one that really has brought this particular vision to life, and he's here to tell us all about it. Chris, wonderful to catch up with you this afternoon. Welcome to Channel Africa. All right. Chris, do you want to just unmute yourself, my darling? So I can hear you.
Here we go.
There you are.
Here I am.
Here you are. How are you?
Such an honor to be able to. I am good, and you?
I'm wonderful. I think this is just such a wonderful experience. As I'm, saying the words, I'm picturing it, the glitz, the glam, the fashion, the celebration. And I think because it falls under the umbrella of Pride Month, it's so exciting. But talk to me, I think before we get into this beautiful event that you are curating, let's talk a little bit about the significance of Pride Month, maybe a little bit about the history as well. And I think also just perhaps if you can weave into your response its significance for young Africans at this time.
I think right now we are in an era where more and more people are becoming accepting of different voices and identities, especially like Gen Z is helping a lot with that, opening people's minds up. And I think this month I know is International Pride Month. And I think I've always had it in my head on how to celebrate Pride Month through what I love to do, which is dance. And that is what I've come to know as the Vogue ballroom culture. And I think for the community or the queer community, I'm going to have to make it significant to Gqeberha because it's my city, and right now there hasn't been spaces like this for our city. And I have so many friends that identify as queer, and it's always so sad to hear the different experiences that they have to deal with, something that me as a cisgender person does not get to experience or have to go through, things of having to watch what they wear or think about what they say and speak, because for me as a cisgender, I can wear anything and then people won't really question me or judge me, but I just often hear my friends having to deal with something like this. And because of Vogue Ball, the history of that is the queer community reclaiming their identity, their space, and creating a space where they can freely express who they want to be. And if in that moment, like with the Vogue Ball, think of a pageant, in that moment when you're walking, you can literally be anyone, identify as anyone, as anything, be it a drag pageant Madonna or a Marilyn Monroe. If that is the energy you want to channel, nobody can tell you who to be, what to look like, what to wear, because that is your rule, that's your narrative to portray without anyone else telling you. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely, it does. You speak about your relocation to Gqeberha. You speak about, just what you noticed in terms of the lack of accessible, queer-friendly dance spaces. I want to talk to you about the significance of dance in the queer space. What is the significance of that art form in the dance space?
So with dance as a whole, it's a way to express. And as a dancer myself, like it's like you become a character, you become a version of yourself you never really thought you could be. And that's something I think is so important in the Vogue ballroom scenes for the queer community, because that is where they are able to create that sort of identity for themselves. And again, like I said previously, allowing them to express and be true to who they want to be in that moment through dance. But it's just so important also because I think at the end of the day, when we think about like pop culture and things like that, a lot of those spaces have celebrated and have catered to the queer community, because I think as artists, we also understand how difficult it is you stick to a certain box and that's how everybody sees you. But like at the end of the day, there are so many different avenues that you can use, especially through dance, to be able to tell stories, to be able to tell, to share history and allow people to connect with it in a familiar sense, like maybe if having it on paper, a person's not going to be able to relate, but if you can tell the story maybe through dance and these different characters, perhaps the visual eye will be able to understand and connect and relate and even sympathize a little bit better.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. Thank you. I love that. I really do. Okay, we're talking about the first ever Vogue Ballroom event, and we've got Chrissy Dance on the line, and she is just here to tell us about the dance experience, especially when we look at the space of Gqeberha, as it were, as a city here in South Africa. We're back after the promo break to really delve into what this Vogue Ballroom event has in store for you and I.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine.
I want the Africa that makes every single African proud of the continent and have hope. And there's so much stuff that's going on that's positive. And if we can just lock into that, Namaganjani, everyone is going to get there.
Where are we going? Where are we trying to get to?
The idea of working together, which is why I'm excited about this new voice.
And the new voice is me, Asanda Peta, broadcast journalist with about 15 years of experience on the radio space.
Welcome, Asanda. I've been waiting for you for a long time.
Were you waiting for me?
I was.
Really?
Yeah, because for 3 months I was on my own.
So be sure to tune in right here on Channel Africa Mondays to Fridays from 6 to 9 a.m. Central African Time.
If you want to know about your continent, this is the best place to start your day.
Rise and Shine on Channel Africa. This is The Upside for the best African vibes, groundbreaking content.
You're welcome to let us know what is happening in your particular African region. I know it's just such a tough space to navigate when we look at the various laws on the continent and people sort of being openly queer, or openly gay, as it were. But share with us what's happening. Is there any activity? Is there anything you would like to share about your activism around that space? You're welcome to do so. This is a free space to do so. Connect with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook. If you'd like to comment there, you're welcome to do so. You can drop us a line on our Twitter page at Channel Africa 1. Use the hashtag The Upside. Right now, as we pay attention to Pride Month, which is acknowledged globally during this month of June, we're looking at activities in the city of Gqeberha in South Africa. They are making history with the first ever Vogue Ballroom event hosted by the Keep Dancing Experience. And on the line with me is Chrissy Dance. I love that name, Chrissy Dance. And she's the founder of KDX. And we're talking about, the space of free expression, during this Pride Month and the celebrations, as it were, for queer communities. Chrissy, welcome back. Let's, I think also just ahead of the event, as I understand it, there are other smaller gatherings that you are involved in as a build-up to this. Tell me more about them. I think for me, what I'm trying to get from this understanding is also how it's encouraging young people and self-expression, whatever that self-expression may be.
Yes, so what we like to do, the KDX initiative focuses on rebuilding the street dance community, and we try curate events and experiences like that once a month in the city, because there aren't platforms for dancers to come together, grow together, learn from each other and things like that. So for Pride Month specifically, we always have small little pop-up workshops or showcases, be it at a market or a dance studio, just to fully actually directly connect with the dance community because sometimes you actually have to go fetch the people. They can see it online, they can see the post, but if you give them a little bit of a taste, I think it's a bigger incentive to actually say, I want to be a part of this, I want to grow the initiative, grow street dance. So we have a couple of showcases and pop-ups happening. We're going to be in Tiger's Milk in Gqeberha Warmer, where we're going to be working alongside one of the comedians from Port Elizabeth, Gqeberha, where we're going to showcase a little bit of a Vogue ballroom battle moment, just give a little bit of excitement as to what they can expect at the event. Another workshop that we're having in one of the historically colored communities here in Port Elizabeth, Galvindale, we're going to have a pop-up on Friday at one of the local dance studios there that also pushes street dance in these underprivileged communities. And what we've noticed in these underprivileged communities is where the passion really lies, where your drag artists are, where your break dancers are, where the krampers are. And we've seen so much support when we step into those communities, because I think there's also a little bit more story and, like I said, passion, something to hold on to that at least gives that glimmer of hope. So I always try my best to tap into those spaces, because I just over the last, like we are 2 years this year. So over those 2 years, I've just been noticing that more and more, once I get into those communities, the way people's faces light up when they see somebody dance. We were in the townships in February as well, and we brought Pansula dancers from Johannesburg down, because there's no Pansula dancers in the city as well, or rather pushing the dance style. And it's just so like refreshing, because like I want to reiterate, like Gqeberha has so much talent and passion, but like no platforms. And I think that is why I go into these different communities, because the youth needs it. Like we all have, nobody has like academic skill set. Not everybody's an academic. Not everyone is somebody good at maths and I'm going to become a doctor. And if sometimes art is your way of that you can make money, and some people in these communities don't know that. So again, these platforms are very important to expose the mind to these possibilities for the youth.
Right. I think this is so important, and I think also very significant, this work, considering that Gqeberha is largely a rural setting, and these conversations around being prideful and, having an open discussion about the lived experience of queer people, young queer people, is so important. So, I mean, dance as an expression also just amazing. So let's talk about the event. The inspiration behind the Keep Dancing experience, and, who's invited? How can I come through and experience it with you?
So, of course, we are creating a space for the queer community, but it's also, if you are an ally, I want you to be there. I want you to be present. We're hosting it in Central here in Gqeberha, Black Box Theatre, very iconic studio and event venue. And I think it's just the perfect space, because a ballroom, what we call the in Vogue Ball, is enclosed, it's intimate, and it allows us to all really connect with each other. So it really is focused on, for one, all of our events has been about introduction, because like I said, there aren't really platforms and spaces for us to connect as dancers. So it's a way also to educate our Gqeberha community about the Vogue culture and how they can support the queer community. We had a march this past weekend, Saturday, and I really do believe moments like that are very important, but like iconic queer spaces like the Vogue Ball is something very important to have as well. So we want to incorporate everyone through DJs, queer DJs that are existing in our city, partnering with the runway is a specific category. In Vogue Ball, you have different categories, which allows you to embody whatever that category. So you have African runway is one of them.
Right.
So obviously we want to keep it into the South African context. And how we are doing that is also having a professional model who has a model academy, in fact, come host a workshop as well at the event and sort of give those tools on how to strut with stuff on the runway. Yeah.
Okay, very quickly, where can we get tickets? I've got to let you go, but just in 20 seconds, where can we get tickets?
Okay, so tickets are 50 Rand on web tickets, and of course you can get them on Pick n Pay, Boxer, or ShopRite. It's only 50 Rand, and by you buying a ticket, you're supporting street dance as a whole and the queer community for Pride Month. Yeah.
All right, do the right thing. It's taking place on the 29th of June. That's this month at the Black Box Studio. Get a ticket. And thanks you once again, Chris Swatboy, a.k.a. Chrissy Dance, founder of KDX. Let's do a quick cross to the sports desk. Figile Lungwati has the latest sports news.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
I sure do, Tego. Let me begin with boxing news. The newly appointed CEO of Boxing South Africa, Tsulufelo Lijaka, says as CEO he needs to sort out all dividing issues, otherwise he'll be failing at his job. Lijaka has outlined an ambitious roadmap for the future of the sport in South Africa, with the chief aim being restoring respect in the organization. Bridgeweight world champion Kevin Lerena gets his own opportunity in the ring on the 19th of next month and wants to use it to further shine the light on boxing development.
Yeah, mad. Co-main event, Wembley Stadium, 97,000 people in London against Lawrence Okoli for the WBC silver heavyweight #1 spot. A win against Okoli will put me right in line to face the winner of Usyk and Dubois or Ajit Kabayel. It's crazy to think, but this is what we do it for. This is what we work hard for, and I've never been shy of hard work. So for me to represent my country is what makes me proud. I'm very proudly South African. That's why it's an absolute honor, and I glow with pride to give all fighters, male and female, white, black, African, whatever it is, an opportunity and a platform, because this is truly how we grow the sport within South Africa.
Cricket news, the Proteas women captain Laura Volvaert has lauded her opening partnership with Tasmin Bretts as being the heart of their win over the West Indies in the third and the final ODI in Barbados, which gave them a 2-1 series win. Volvaert scored 75, while Bretts notched up her 4th century in the 50-over international circuit to lead the team to a total of 278. Rain had a lot to do with the proceedings as South Africa won by 166 via Duckworth-Lewis method, and the skipper is happy with the synergy up front.
Very pleased. Had a tough couple of games, but just a really conscious change of mindset today. I think I had a lot of discussions with the coaches on how to go about the innings and really take on that power play a bit more. So tried a lot more brave options today, and it paid off, which was really nice to see. And then Taz did the exact same. Obviously, really nice that she scored the 100 person in a great position. So.
Volvaert was also happy to be back among the runs for the team and contribute with a bigger score towards victory. This is her first half century since December last year against England in Potchefstroom.
Very important. When it doesn't go well, it gets spoken about a lot. I think we've put on a lot of good stands in the past couple of years batting together. It's really nice batting with her. I think we almost don't really need to look at where the ball is. We just know when to run and stuff like that, and did really well encouraging each other to be nice and positive today. It was nice to bat out in the middle. I think we have quite a good record together, so that change in mindset and that good intent today was awesome.
Tennis news, Carlos Alcaraz beat Adam Walton on the grass courts of the Queen's Club Championship to extend his incredible win streak to 14 matches. It was not all straightforward, with lucky loser Walton holding 2 set points in set 2, though Alcaraz did enough to seal a 6-4, 7-6, 4 victory at the ATP 500 event. Alcaraz's win was his first since his stunning Roland Garros triumph, and the Spaniard has now won 14 straight matches amid a scintillating run of form. And now on to bowling news. It is Namibia. The national men's bowling champion, Allen Langenstrassen, has expressed satisfaction with his preparation for the upcoming event. The event is scheduled to take place from the 16th to the 30th of September. He says he's ready to take on the world's biggest stars when he represents Namibia later this year at the prestigious 2025 World Bowling Championship in Australia. This competition will bring together reigning champions from affiliated countries to compete for top honors. Swakopmund-based bowler qualified after dominating the national championship last year in Walvis Bay. He will be accompanied by the reigning champion in the women's division, Yvonne Carstens. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom. It's newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, File Lungwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Africa, voici Abedi.
Oui, c'est moi.
Abedi est un passionné de musique dans l'âme. Il a un goût pour toutes sortes de musique et passe ses journées à écouter Channel Africa.
J'aime beaucoup la musique africaine.
Ok. Devinez quoi? Channel Africa veut aider Abedi et les mélomanes du monde entier à découvrir encore plus de musique incroyable. C'est pourquoi Channel Africa appelle les artistes africains à soumettre leur musique. Chers artistes, n'oubliez pas de nous fournir toutes vos informations pertinentes à l'email adresse musique@channelafrica.co.za. Les soumissions sont votre chance d'être entendues, mais elles ne garantissent pas une playlist. Toutes les soumissions seront soigneusement examinées pour voir si elles répondent aux exigences de notre station. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
All right, we're fast approaching 20 minutes to go till we wrap up this hour. Our final econ roundup for this program with Nosipho Zuma.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Matejo. Good afternoon. In your business news this hour, Namibia's central bank has left its main interest rate unchanged. The bank says it wants to safeguard the local currencies pegged to South Africa's rand and that global risks were limiting its ability to ease policy. It is the second meeting in a row where the bank has kept its repo rate at 6.75% after 4 rate cuts before that. Dimakatso Leshoro reports.
Global central banks are trying to prop up their economies through rate cuts in the face of risks linked to U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war and global conflicts. In a statement, the Bank of Namibia says the Monetary Policy Committee is wary of the prevailing uncertainty from fundamental global economic and trade policy shifts. It says the escalating Middle East conflict and its potential ramifications for global inflation and growth could not be overlooked. The central banks of Namibia and neighboring South Africa often move in lockstep, given the peg between the Namibian dollar and the rand.
Energy experts have been focusing on the need to increase microgrids usage on the second day of the Africa Energy Forum in Cape Town, South Africa. Microgrids are described as small connection networks of electricity users with a local source of supply. Now, South Africa is currently preparing to roll out 14,000 kilometers of transmission lines over the next 10 years under the new National Transmission Company of South Africa. The G20 Working Group wants to ensure the electrification of 300 million households by 2030. The South African National Energy Development Institute Chief Executive Officer Dr. Titus Mate elaborates.
We need to harmonize policies, we need to harmonize grid codes. There's quite a lot of things that have to happen. But we should not just only be focusing on electricity trading. We must also focus on other commodities. For instance, trading on gas. Now there's a pathway down critical minerals. We need to be talking about that. How do we interconnect Africa to be able to trade not only on electricity but trade on gas, trade on oil, trade on gas, resources that needs to be moved across. We need to maybe look at liberalizing the immigration rules so that we're able to move people from one country to another.
Retail trade sales in South Africa have shown a significant improvement in April compared to March 2025. According to Stats South Africa, retail sales increased by 5.1% year-on-year in April 2025. The largest positive contributors to this increase were general dealers and retailers in textiles, clothing, footwear and leather goods. Seasonally adjusted retail trades sales increased by 0.9% in April 2025 compared with March 2025. Nothando Magudulela reports.
Retail trade sales increased by 3.4% in the 3 months ended April 2025 compared with the 3 months ended April 2024. The largest positive contributors to this increase were retailers in textiles, clothing, footwear and leather goods and general dealers. At the same time, seasonally adjusted retail trade sales decreased by 0.5% in the 3 months ended April 2025 compared with the previous 3 months.
Morocco is planning to review its trade agreement with Turkey and push for more Turkish investment to offshore an expanding trade deficit driven largely by Turkish fabric imports. Morocco's cabinet member in charge of trade, Majira, will soon visit Turkey, Morocco's sixth biggest trading partner, to discuss measures aimed at mitigating the $3 billion deficit. Tabola Hoko compiled this report.
Initially signed in 2004, Morocco and Turkey introduced amendments to the free trade deal 5 years ago, including a 90% tariff on Turkish textile and clothing imports to protect Moroccan manufacturers and jobs. Moroccan companies still import large volumes of Turkish fabric, however, to meet the needs of the country's apparel sector. According to official data, Morocco's overall trade deficit widened 22.8% to $12 billion in the first 4 months this year.
And finally, a 90,000 metric ton cargo of gasoline from Nigeria's Dangote refinery will be sold out of the region for the first time and bound for Asia. Now, since the 650,000 barrel per day refinery started gasoline exports last year, the cargoes have stayed in West Africa. Mercuria is due to load the cargo on the 22nd of June. Dangote refinery spokesperson say that the company sells its products to those who are willing to give the highest price. Your financial indicators: $1 US in Nigeria is trading at 1,543 naira 57. In Botswana is 13.21. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shillings 60, and in Zambia is 24 kwacha 31. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 49. Russia is 78 rubles 50. India it's 86 rupees 24. China at 7 yuan 18, and in South Africa $1 is trading at 17 rand 88. $1 is trading at 73 pence to the British pound and 86 to the euro. Now looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,383 and platinum at $1,278 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $76.06 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Nosipho Zuma.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. We are on OpenView's audio bouquet. Channel 628.
Zochitika ndimodapiri kamlondola wazochitika pena paliponse.
Nduna wazamalonda kumalawi waletsa kampani yopanga shuga ya Irovo yomwe ndi nthambi ya Irovo Sugar Group Limited kuti isiye kutumiza shuga kumaiko akunja. Malingana ndi nduna ya zamalonda Vitumbuko Mumba, izi zithandiza kuti shuga yemwe yakusowa pamsika azipezeka. Ndiye pano ndili ndi George Muhangu amene ali mu mzinda wa Blantyre mu dziko la Malawi. Chimene chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndi chani?
Chomwe chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndichonena kuti panopo ili ngati off season ya makampani a Irovo Sugar Malawi, kunena kuti sakutha kupanga shugayi okwanira chifukwa akukolora. Ndiye akamaliza kukolora pameneno atayambeno sopano kugaya shugayi kuti azipezeka. Chinanso ndichonena kuti ma distributors amene akumakagula sugar kaya ndi ku Irovo kaya ndi kusalima sugar akumagulisa kumaiko akunja ngati Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Mozambique.
Zochitika ndimodapiri lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV audio bouquet. Channel 802. Voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some Lucifer knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a...
Million boy, 13 milli with another King
a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some Lucifer knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif.
Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m.
Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9.
We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia.
9 till 10. We take a look in Africa
and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla.
And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines
with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa.
Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa.
It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising.
Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9.
Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis,
and the voices that shape the day.
At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people,
and the things that make Africa smile.
12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories,
and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else.
The Upside, 1 till 4,
live and real,
with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni.
Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m.
5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color.
Vue d'Afrique, with Joël Moteba.
We go to East and Central Africa
and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif.
Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m.
Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9.
We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia.
9 till 10. We take a look in Africa
and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla.
And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines
with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa.
Your country. All right, we've played quite a few songs from the Togo region on the Upside this afternoon. Paki Chenzu is what you heard with Millions Boy from Togo. So I'd love to hear what the space of music is like there, what the space of travel and artistic expressions of all kinds is like in Togo. Get in touch with us, okay, if you'd like to share, at Channel Africa 1 on Twitter with the hashtag The Upside. We're about to wrap up the show, of course, making way for the next program just after 4 p.m. in Central African time. It has been an absolute pleasure to be with you this afternoon, and I hope that you enjoyed the conversations as we moved through looking at spaces of really experiencing the lifestyle and the theatrics around putting together a decent cocktail. This is good information. And then, of course, moving conversation to really looking at dance as a form of expression. I think also around looking at themes around Pride Month on the African continent, and looking at the space of tourism and the subsector of glamping and what that's all about. So it has been wonderful. We are 6 minutes out into the 4 p.m. hour with news coming through at the top.
I found the joy through all the pain. Through all the pain, I found the sun. Through all the rain, I found the power. A brand new day, a brand new day. I found the power. A brand new day, a brand new day. And I'm awakening. Who I could be through the thick and thin. I'm singing my song and I'm finding my way again. Oh, down in the sea and waiting in. I count my blessings. Arise from the deep, let the joy within. I know it's been hard, but I found my way again. Oh, we'll never end where we begin. I found my hope when it was lost. When it was lost, I held my heart out of the dark. Out of the dark, I found the power, a brand new day, a brand new day. I found the power, a brand new day, a brand new day. There is a love I only know, I found
Coming through with music by the founder of the Batonga Foundation in Benin. Her name is Angelique Kidjo. She's also a really profound musical artist. And the work that she's doing, I mean, she's in her 60s and she's doing so much work with young people. And she didn't start that now. She's been doing it really for several years. And it's a kind of grooming of the next generation and handing on the baton, so that they can do the same for the next generation that comes up after them. So this is her contribution titled Joy, featuring Nigeria's Davido. We know she's done work with other youngsters, the young gospel choir in South Africa. I forgot the name of the choir, but she's done work with them. The youth choir here. She's done work with other young people in the country of Nigeria as well. And she's looking forward to more. The last conversation I had with her, she was looking forward to working with other young South African artists, and she's like, we're going to make the music and we're going to release it and it's going to be out there. She's just such a vibrant mama, and we're only too grateful to have her in the space of music. 2 minutes to go till it's 4 p.m. in Central African time. We've got a news bulletin coming through before we open the space for Africa in Business with Tami Ngubeni, who will be coming through to host the space for you. We've got other language services. It's not just the English service on Channel Africa. So we also have the French desk that will be coming through with Vue d'Afrique. We've got Darubini Africa, and they are, of course, in charge of our Kiswahili programming. We've got the wonderful team of Kaleidoscopio. They are, of course, from the Portuguese desk. And we've got Team Chinyanja. Yeah. They're also going to be coming through with wonderful programming. So there is plenty to look forward to on our radio station. More information about programming in the various language spaces, you can check it out on channelafrica.co.za. It has been a great show. It has been a great Wednesday edition, midweek edition of our program. Thank you to Joelani Tulungwepe on the news desk. She's coming through at 4 p.m. We've had, of course, Nosipo Zuma, who came through on the econ desk. Figileli Nwati, thank you for the sports news. Ntsako Mashaba, who made sure that he takes care of the social media platforms. Katu Madaba on a technical operation. And a huge thanks to the chief whip, Madam Producer Nombuyiselo Tango, on content production. My name is Matsako Mosito. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check you out again soon. Bye.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top stories. Asawa, the family of Zambia's former President Edgar Lungu, hails the return of his body from South Africa, and Gaza says at least 30 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli strikes and gunfire today. Good afternoon. The family of Zambia's former President Edgar Lungu has halted the return of his body from South Africa, accusing the government of breaching key agreements over his funeral. The agreements had been finalized and his remains were due to be flown back home on Wednesday on a private charter plane after days of uncertainty and negotiations between the family and the government. The family now says it finds it very difficult to believe that the government will stick to their end of the agreement. Family spokesperson Makebi Zulu also said the government had released a draft program of the funeral without consultation with the family. President Hakainde Hichilema was scheduled to receive the body upon its arrival at the airport in the capital Lusaka. The former president's body was said to be taken to his residence in Lusaka, where it would lie in state ahead of his state funeral on the 22nd of June and burial the following day. Chief Electoral Officer of South Africa's Independent Electoral Commission, Sai Mamabolo, says there are certain policy discussions that the Electoral Commission does not involve itself with. He was responding to questions on whether the IEC should be given more powers to police political party funding. The IEC is holding a 2-day symposium in Durban in the KwaZulu-Natal province. The event will reflect on the challenges and successes of the Political Party Funding Act since its implementation in 2021. Mamabolo maintains that the IEC's position is to enforce its mandate in accordance to the law laid out by Parliament.
We felt that is a policy matter that the IEC should not involve itself with. And I think we are correct that it's a matter that must be decided by the policyholder. So you can see that we are really trying to navigate a trapezium to ensure that there are areas in which we can be involved and there are areas in which we can be involved because of the sensitive political nature of the topic we're handling today.
Controversial Kenyan televangelist Gilbert Deya, who claimed he created miraculous pregnancies, has died in a road crash. Police told local media that Deya died on the spot yesterday evening after his vehicle was involved in an accident with a university bus and another vehicle near the town of Kisumu in western Kenya. At least 30 other people were reportedly injured, including a person identified as his wife and a passenger in his vehicle and 15 students in the bus. Deya, who ran a church in London, rose to infamy in the early 2000s following his claim that he could help infertile couples conceive miracle babies through prayer. Investigations later linked his church to an alleged child trafficking ring, leading to his arrest and extradition from the UK 8 years ago. After a decade-long battle, he was acquitted of the charges in 2023 due to insufficient evidence. Reports from the Democratic Republic of Congo say the country's justice minister has resigned